shot. And the catch is made. It's Ryan Williams. Still spinning free.
The dream lives. They're going to the playoffs. The drought is over.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Zuggy Zone. I know we missed last week. I had a lot of stuff going on personally. So this is our makeup show for y'all. Usually we aren't live on Mondays. We come to you guys on Thursdays. But we're here. And Jet, how you doing?
Not too bad. You know, like you said, it is a Monday, but it is a Monday that we are off classes. So,
Yes.
I mean, I know this show is coming to you in the afternoon, but that's because we just need our beauty rest, people. That's simply all it is. We just need to sleep.
Yeah, I mean, it is nice this week. So normally we have another show we do for school on Tuesdays. So that's off this week. Get a little bit of a moment to just refresh. And I know I slept in a little bit today. Probably too long because I've been feeling like crap all morning because of it. But we got some fun stuff to talk about. Last week, because we didn't go live, we missed out on the playoffs. Starting up for MLB, getting our predictions in for that. I was literally looking forward to it, and we weren't able to do it because of me personally getting ready for things. And this week we're going to talk about that. We also have the Mark Sanchez incident. We're not going to go too in-depth, but we figure you guys should know about it. It's a former NFL quarterback and current announcer for the NFL doing some stuff he shouldn't be doing. And then we got our way too early NHL predictions, some fantasy football roster analysis from both of us, and we made a trade today, so you guys can clown on us for our lack of knowledge and being dinguses. We're both good at football, but I feel like the season just hasn't been our best for fantasy. And then we'll go into the rest of the show as per usual. But we're going to save all the big NFL talk for Thursday. All right, that's enough yapping for me. Let's get into the weekly wrap-up with our first story. It is the Major League Baseball playoffs, and the wild card already happened. We missed it. It goes so fast. Yankees over the Red Sox, Cubs over the Padres, the Tigers over the Guardians, and then why am I blanking on the last one? What am I doing? Oh, God. What the hell? It's been such a slow day for me. Anyways, you got the field that's set. Oh, yeah, Dodgers over the Reds. That one was just forgettable. That's why I didn't remember it. It was the most forgettable wild card series of all time. It was just the Dodgers just smacking the Reds around back and forth for 18 innings of baseball. So poor Reds fans, but we're also Cardinals fans here. You don't get much sympathy from us. All right, Major League playoffs. What do we got going on right now, Jet?
So, as far as Major League playoffs right now, I mean, from what I am seeing, Tigers, Mariners, Yankees, Blue Jays. Yankees, Blue Jays is gonna be really interesting because right now they're in their game 3 today is the 6th. It's going into the 7th, so tomorrow night.
In the Bronx.
In the Bronx, but it's best of 5. And the Blue Jays are up 2-0. The Yankees could lose and get swept tomorrow night out of playoff contention, which is almost completely unheard of in, this modern day and age where the Dodgers and the Yankees are bought and paid for to get to the World Series like they did last year.
Yeah, and you saw how that went for the Mets. Didn't even make the game this year. Didn't even make the dance.
Exactly.
You can't just, it helps because I broke down the stats earlier this year. All the playoff teams, essentially, outside of the Guardians and the Reds, have pretty big payrolls on the upper half of the league. And also the Detroit Tigers. They're also, I believe, like 16th. So, yeah, you mentioned it, bought and paid for, and you could be swept out of the ALDS, which would be beautiful. Because we have no sympathy for y'all. Fuck the Yankees.
None.
Sorry if you're a Yankees fan. Don't hate you personally, but just your team. We're a small market squad over here, the Cardinals, and we still have 11 rings to show for it. Just won't see any for the next 10 years or so.
Oh, yeah. And then on the National League side of that, Dodgers, Phillies. Dodgers are up 1-0, but they're going into game 2. That's going to be tonight. And then the Cubs versus the Brewers, both in our division. Honestly, that game's just... We're waiting on who wins the Dodgers and Phillies. The Phillies is the only team from Philadelphia that I will ever root to win, but that's because they're the lesser of two evils going between the Dodgers and the Phillies. I hope the Phillies advance, so that way whoever advances in Cubs and Brewers, they just get eliminated by the Phillies, and the Phillies could go to the World Series, because I think they're overdue. I think the Phillies are overdue for a World Series. And I think, honestly, if I were to pick any of these teams to win the World Series this year, I'd want the Phillies to. No offense to the Mariners.
Ah,
No offense to the Mariners or Blue Jays, but I think out of all of them, I think I'd prefer to see Philly advance. Even though the Dodgers are up 1-0 on them, I believe that the Phillies could get it done. So yeah, that's where we are right now in the divisional side of the playoffs. That won't be done till maybe beginning of next week, the divisional games, depending on
yeah,
how
it
long they
depends,
go.
yeah.
I mean, they could be done by this weekend. They could be done middle of next week. It really depends on how long these series want to go. Man, we might get told tomorrow night that the Yankees are out and the Blue Jays are going on to the ALCS. I mean,
Yeah,
you never
dude,
know.
I'm looking forward to the end of these series, especially the Mariners one. But I do want to call out Major League Baseball on something really fast. So you
Go
had
for
the
it.
wild card series ending, and I understand that maybe because the way you scheduled that, you couldn't start this on Friday. But maybe you should have thought about that because you had a Friday with nothing going on. No sports, no nothing. You would have had all of the visibility for the ALDS opener, and you didn't. And then you scheduled it on Saturday and Sunday, and you're competing against football. You have to put playoff games on FS1 now. Like, what? Dude, like, the Mariners, Tigers, I understand it's small market, but FS1, you guys couldn't schedule this a little bit better to get more visibility? So disappointed in that. And then the Blue Jays, I'm shocked by. The Yankees actually looked pretty good against the Red Sox. I liked what I saw there. You took down a rival, your mortal enemy, the Boston Red Sox. You hate them. You have all this momentum coming in, and you've given up 23 runs in 2 games so far. That is not how you're going to get it done in the playoffs. I'm sorry. Pitching wins you games. Your offense physically cannot overcome 23 runs. I don't care if it's the murderer's row. You're not going to win the series if you keep doing this. Yeah, you scored 7 yesterday, and you gave up, 13? Like, come on, dog. Like, yeah, no. And then the Mariners-Tigers series is just a strikeout fest. A billion strikeouts so far. Yeah, 44 total Ks in this series so far. And the Mariners got their first playoff win since October 20th of 2001 last night. And they got to do it at home, which was really special. That was certainly a fun one. Made the Bills' loss hurt a little bit less. But the Bills are my number 1 football team. The Mariners are my number 2 baseball team. So it still stings, even if I did predict it before the season. Yeah, we'll talk about that on Thursday. I just have some strong words for Mick Dumbass, our head coach. I'm sorry, dude. Until we find some playoff success, he's not getting called McDermott again from me. I'm so done with him. I hate his scheming. The first
That's going to be his next job.
Yeah, should be working at McDonald's. You can do a lot worse with the head coach. I'm just really bummed that we have him. And also the first 20, 30 plays of the game are scripted out by your OC. What the fuck was that script? Anyways, baseball.
Baseball.
So the Brewers are up on the Cubs. One of their star players dealing with injury. Don't know if he's going to play the rest of the series here. I would prefer the Brewers strictly because I hate the Cubs more than I hate the Brewers.
This is true.
But if the Cubs ended up winning, I would want them probably over the Phillies just to make my mom happy. I mean, I hate them, but just so my mom gets a little bit of sports joy because she has a soft spot for the Cubs, grew up in that area. Don't want them winning a ring. 100%. Absolutely not. Cannot have the Cubs with a ring. But if they escape this series, all right, make my mom happy.
Hey, they broke their 104-year curse, whatever. They could go another 104 years. Not in my lifetime, all right?
Yeah, I don't need to see
Cubbies
another
can
one.
stay in the Windy City and not get another one. I'm just saying.
They're close. I feel like their ownership, it's just they have money and they don't spend it. And, I mean, the fact that they haven't re-signed Tucker yet is annoying for me, even as a Cardinals fan. Because, you see what this guy did. You see how well the team did once you signed him. Give him another contract. I mean, just get back up the Brinks truck, open up the checkbook, get him re-signed. And they haven't done it. So that is our baseball talk for now. We got some fun games coming up, and I'll talk more about it later in our Battle of the Bet segment because I got some baseball picks for my 3-leg parlay this evening. Our second story is Mark Sanchez being a dummy McDummerson, potentially throwing his career away over getting drunk and trying to break into a dude's car. Jet, what do you got on the story?
So, obviously early Saturday morning. This is before college football even kicked off. News broke that the former Jets quarterback and a Fox analyst now, Mark Sanchez, was stabbed and he was rushed to the hospital. People didn't know what was happening. And then all of a sudden on Sunday, reports came out that, Sanchez was the aggressor. Sanchez was the one that attacked this dude. And it was very weird on Saturday because they just said he was rushed to the hospital, but they never said what happened to the guy that stabbed him, really. So it was like, normally you hear that those guys got handcuffed, taken to jail, and they're getting charged with this. But that was never said until Sunday when they're like, oh yeah, Sanchez was in the wrong. He got charged Sunday with battery with injury, unlawful entry of a motor vehicle, and public intoxication. And that was just on Sunday. So they arrested him Sunday while he was still in the hospital. He's still in the hospital, and actually the Indianapolis police came out this morning and said that they are adding another charge. All those ones before were just misdemeanors. Could be slap on the wrist, don't do it again. Bad, Mark Sanchez. However, this one is a level 5 felony charge of battery with serious bodily injury, which we're not going to get too deep into it. This is a sports show. If you see the pictures of the guy that Mark Sanchez went toe-to-toe with, it is a 68-year-old man, and that 68-year-old man does not look very healthy right now. So, yeah, Mark Sanchez, he's now going to be facing some prison time. Definitely not going to be a Fox analyst any longer. But he is out of his jail sort of sentence now because of a $300 bond. That's right. They held him on only a $300 bond.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
What
that was
the
a
hell?
fun little tidbit I kept out for you. Yeah, so I'm going to give my 2 cents on that one. We had this whole discussion earlier in this, in the show season 2, of Rashee Rice and his issues and how we felt he was a little lackluster. Mark Sanchez literally, drunkenly injured and basically beat the hell out of this guy. $300 bond and he's out? Don't get me wrong, the guy got his lick back and, personal defense, self-defense, which thankfully they are considering it self-defense, so the old man isn't in trouble with the law. However, $300? $300,
man.
Don't get me wrong, I don't have that in my bank account right now, but that is a Fox analyst. You couldn't have made it 1,000, 2,000, made it a little bit more severe. Nah, $300.
Well, I mean, I don't have the details, and I don't know if you did, but was the bond posted the night of before we had all the details. That stuff we could consider, but I don't love that. But I just wanted to, we threw this in here just to keep you guys up to date on it. It's a developing story. We don't have all of the details, but we'll say this: if you're gonna go out drinking, drink responsibly.
Be smart.
Just don't drink to excess. You can have a lot of fun with your buddies doing stuff, but just don't be an idiot. Don't try to break in people's cars. Don't fight in bars, because especially if you're a celebrity, cameras are on you, man. If we go to
24/7.
Yeah, if you and I went to the bar tomorrow and had a bar fight, for one, I'm getting my ass kicked, and two, no one's gonna report on Zuggy's own analyst, Zuggy J. No, it ain't gonna happen. But if you're Mark Sanchez, you gotta know better. So another butt fumble in his career, throwing away a lot of money and potentially facing prison time.
And to throw a little bit on that, while they may not report on us Zuggy Zone, we go to Lindenwood University. Imagine if a Lindenwood football player did something like that in St. Charles, in our neck of the woods.
Yeah.
Oh boy, they'd get coverage. So
I don't know. You'd get covered on Fizz, that's for sure. You definitely
Fizz 110%. I'm saying local coverage, not national coverage.
The local paper and everything would report. Athletics would definitely be working overtime to cover that up, but you have to. I mean, you can't just not do that. I'm not giving,
you can't.
That's not a shot at athletics. They got to do their job. They got to take care of that type of stuff. So.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that's the story on Mark Sanchez. Now this next one is a fun segment. And you might see some really differing answers here, as we're going to try to go through the NHL season, do some predictions. But before that, Tampa Bay in Florida. They hate each other. Jet, they keep scheduling each other in the preseason because they're close, which makes sense, I guess, for travel. But I think after this season, they might need to reevaluate that.
Oh my God. Yeah, so we were looking at stories to cover for today. And thank God did we wait. Thank God did we wait until today, because we would not have had this absolute gem of a story for you all. The Panthers-Lightning final preseason game, it just ended in heavy penalization from both sides. NHL Pierre LeBrun, he's an analyst, he called it a gong show because in this game alone, 16 ejections and 312 penalty minutes between the two teams. The Panthers might have walked away with a 7-0 win, but, you know, they weren't untouched because the Panthers, they had a goal taken away from them during the game because they found out that the defenseman Nico Mikkola, I think I said his name right.
Former Blue, by the way.
Former Blue, Nico Mikkola assisted on a goal after getting ejected. So they had to take away that goal because it was assisted by... Yeah, it was assisted
did he come back? Did they kick him out?
I don't know.
What the hell?
He, came back, helped assist a goal, and then they're like, no, that doesn't count. You're ejected. Get out of your body.
Oh, my God.
But Tampa Bay wasn't untouched because two of their people actually got fined for cross-checking. One was Gage Conclaves. He got $3,125 for cross-checking the forward Evan Rodriguez. No. And the other was, but I mean the ejections. He was the starter that night.
Yeah, he was.
And the other was Roman Schmidt. He got fined for $2,098 and 52 cents. Mind you, the 52 cents. That gets you about a Hubba Bubble bubble gum right there.
I love the PA. Thank you, NHL PA, for throwing that on there. Great.
52 cents. For cross-checking the center, Carter Verhaeghe. Verhaeghe. So, yeah, they went toe for toe, and apparently this was not an actual game of hockey.
No.
This was a EA NHL game where you and your buddy basically get in there, just start a bunch of fights so you can see how much of the penalty box you can fill and how quickly you can run through your roster. That's all this game was. This was literally like Madden, but no, this is EA NHL. This is not actually NHL. This was like, I wonder if we could burn through our whole roster in one night. Let's see if we could get everybody ejected. So fist fights.
I love that you made this like a fun thing, but I know the coaches are fuming.
They're pissed.
Absolutely.
They're mad.
And because this is the preseason of two teams that are contending, right? You're trying to fill out your bottom six. Who's going to be like those last guys on the roster that you're going to take with you? What did you learn from this game? What could you have possibly figured out about your roster from this one? Yes, you hate them. They're your rivals. Dude, it's a preseason game. Like, you got to figure out, like, if the Blues did this tomorrow with the Blackhawks, which we already played them, and it didn't happen, because right now that rivalry is kind of dead because the Blackhawks have been dog shit. But anyways, if that happened, I'd be upset. Like, I'd be like, man, I wanted to see what Dvorsky was going to look like. You know, who are those last few defensemen? Who's going to be on the top lines? You can't learn those things if you go out and just start punching each other in the preseason.
Exactly.
So, for me, if I'm these coaches next year and I'm putting together my preseason schedules, I'm not scheduling each other. It's fun. It's great for the rest of the league. We want it to happen naturally. I mean, the stories you just told me from this game, they're great. But
it's hilarious.
Right. You can't learn anything in these games. You can't properly evaluate your young talent. And now your young talent who makes no money is getting fined. The guys that aren't even going to be on the roster are taken, and maybe it's because they're trying to be like, hey, coach, look, I really care. Look at the energy I bring. These teams don't have a lack of energy right now. They're both playoff contenders. This whole thing was just a mess for both of these squads, but it was fun, and I know we all really enjoyed it. Oh,
yeah. And, you know, again, I'm making a lot of jokes about it, and I'm making those comparisons to make it fun. Dude, this game was an utter travesty. Yeah. It was awful. If your coach is not absolutely making the next practice hell for you, then there's an organizational problem. Because I'm laughing, but God, I don't know if I'd want to watch that game. I might as well just buy the next UFC card if I really want to watch something like that.
I'd watch it, but if it was my team, like I already said, I'd be upset. It's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
because you're also risking injury. And then the cross-checking, the fines for cross-checking. Evan Rodriguez, he's a starter. You know, you're cross-checking guys that you want on the roster, you want healthy. And the Panthers are already shorthanded to start the year. So going out there and trying to injure the other team's starters, I don't think they're trying to, because you're trying to make the roster in the first place. You get that, if you get that like nickname, if people start associating you with that, you're not going to be on a roster. Unless you're really good. Like a Vander Kane or Ryan Reeves back in the day. So, yeah, this is just not a good situation. You can't have that. You can't have starters getting cross-checked and then having fines sent out in a preseason game. But that is all for the weekly wrap-up. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move on to a special segment that we normally don't get to do because we're always doing pick'ems on this show. But this week, it's the end of the week. We already, we have our pick'ems in, but we're not going to cover it this week. We're going to do that on Thursday. So instead, we're going to look at our fantasy rosters and kind of break down maybe where we went wrong and some of the things we did right, and also a trade that you and I made before the show.
Yeah.
So, special segment. It's called We Suck at Fantasy Football, but Are Our Teams Salvageable? And Jet, we're going to look at you first on this one. Can you tell us a little bit about your team?
So, I think the biggest issue is this is a 12-person team. And kind of like you said, I made some really bad early draft picks. And you don't see it initially on the first graphic there, but I have Brock Bowers on my bench because he's out this week. He wasn't able to play, but I took Brock Bowers first overall, or in my first round pick.
Yeah, number 7. So the 7th pick in this year's draft was Brock Bowers by you.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I have faith in Brock Bowers. I think he's one of the best tight ends in the game, and I think that he's absolutely phenomenal. However, my biggest issue is that Pete Carroll doesn't know how to use him. Geno Smith doesn't want to throw to him. And they don't, he was injured at the start of the year, so he's already playing at half speed pretty much. And you don't utilize him properly. So you keep playing him, but don't use him right. But now you're benching him so he could get healthy. And just so you could go back to not using him right. I think that's my biggest hang up with my roster as of right now, is the fact that I didn't have... I wasted such a good pick, because the pick right after mine was Christian McCaffrey, which... My God, I should have went for Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, holy.
I really should have. However, I reached for Brock Bowers, and it's coming to bite me. Daniel Jones, he's on my bench. I think that was a great late season, a couple weeks in pickup. That was a great pickup.
Good depth.
But to do kind of like the ones that we have on screen right now, you see Hollywood Brown hasn't played just yet. But Jackson Dart, Alvin Kamara, those were kind of... Jackson Dart, once he got that first start, I knew he was going to be special. So I picked him up, which is funny because I saw that somebody else had interest in him. So I sniped him real quick. That was great. Rashad White, Bucky Irving's out. Rashad White is doing his thing. And Rashad White's playing really, really well. T. Higgins, he's not going to be effective till December.
Yeah, and that was your second round pick. So
Yeah.
You had some early reaches.
My
hoping
draft
to,
was bad.
Yeah.
I'll admit it. My draft was really dumb, and I don't know what my game plan was. I think it was T. Higgins.
One, dog.
Well, T. Higgins had that big contract signing and everything. He is wide receiver 2, right under Jamar Chase. If it's not Chase, it is Higgins. So I figured Higgins being a wide receiver 2, he'd be good for depth piece, and he'd be solid. I did not anticipate on Joe Burrow being injured in week 3 and then Jake Browning tanking the Bengals season. God!
Well,
so yeah, that bit me. Zay Flowers, though, good pickup. Mason Taylor, I kind of had to pick up as kind of like a backup because Brock Bowers was out. David Njoku already played, so I had to pick up somebody really, really quick.
Could have traded
Mason
with me.
Taylor was...
Kept declining all my
could've.
trades.
I was.
I had
Well,
Dalton Schultz sitting
I
right there.
accepted one. You didn't offer me Dalton Schultz.
I'm just saying, if you needed a tight end, you could have been like, "Oh, I need one for this week." You know, instead of Pearsall or something, you throw him in there. But it didn't happen.
No.
And then you
But
also
anyway.
you drafted Joe Burrow in the third, and the pick
did.
immediately after him was Jackson Smith and Jigba. Then you had Omari and Hampton, Travion Henderson, Devontae Adams. So all players that would have contributed more. But also, we thought, both of us thought Burrow was going to be MVP this year. So maybe not the worst thing ever. And also, Lamar Jackson went there too. He went 36, so a few picks after that. You started off the quarterback train in this one. Because, Josh Allen was a given. He was going to be the first one off regardless.
Oh, yeah. But that's what made me panic and go for Joe Burrow so early is I saw somebody take Josh Allen in the second round, and I'm like, oh, God, if I sit on Burrow for too long, somebody's going to take him, which there were a couple, later in the draft, I purposely picked, people that were kind of buried, and they would still get picked before my next pick came, so I'm like, oh, God, I cannot sleep on Burrow, but here's hoping he comes back and does well for me. Rashid Shaheed, he is by far one of my best wide receivers. I'm glad he's there. Hollywood Brown, he's starting to get productive. The Eagles defense, hit or miss. Very hit or miss. I should have started the Broncos defense, which is funny because they played each other and somehow the Broncos beat them. Great game. And then Jake Elliott, the kicker. Kickers this year, we have 3 good kickers. Other than that, the rest of the league's kickers are awful.
And I just lost mine. He was doing great. I had Schrader, and now he's going to be out for the season. So that hurts. So
I think out of everybody, my big adjustment is I need to get some reliable wide receiver depth, and I need to get, I guess, a better running back roster. My tight ends are fairly solid. David Njoku's good. Brock Bowers is good. David Njoku got 18.7 points, so I'm going to be real with you. I might try to trade him after this
He
week.
might be back. Yeah, because we both talked about it originally when we did our fantasy rankings. Njoku was a guy we both were pretty high on with Joe Flacco's usual connection with his tight ends. But Joe Flacco was so ass that he couldn't get it to anybody, and none of the wide receiving options or
And
pass
Dylan
catchers
Gabriel came in and showed that the Browns can be good this year.
Well,
can be decent. My bad. Middle of the road.
Njoku can be decent this year. I don't know about the Browns because most of his passes weren't. They had a stat at one point in the game, and I don't know if it finished with it, but he was 2 for 8 for throws over 10 yards down the field, so needs to work on that. But yeah, that's your roster. Also, Joe Mixon being out, that hurts big time. And then you got Joe Burrow on IR. This is what I'm working with right now. So I got a team. It's a team that was squeaking by the first few weeks. And you might see Justice Hill there. That was my biggest mistake this week. Chuba Hubbard was out. It was a bye week. And I'm like, okay, what's the best available? I picked up Justice Hill hoping to trade him. I was hoping I could prey on somebody in the league who wasn't paying attention and see his average was 10 and not look at what happened the week before. And I was like, okay, pick him up, make a trade. Couldn't do anything with him. And then I was like, okay, do I start Justice Hill or Krosky Merritt? I'm like, well, Krosky Merritt hasn't done shit. Hill's coming off a big week. And that was the big mistake. Krosky Merritt's RB1. Justice Hill was RB2 behind Henry. It was a backup quarterback week. They're going to keep it on the ground with Henry, give him opportunities. And you can't start an RB2 when you have another RB1 on your roster. So that was stupid. Really bad decision on my part. I picked up Devontae Adams in a trade earlier this year. In that same trade, I got Pearsall. Of course, he went out with injury this week, so I have Ayamanor starting. No, bad, not good. Going to try to improve that for next week, which I believe I will since I made a trade with you.
Yes, sir.
And Jerry Jeudy was my biggest mistake, I think, of the entire draft. Just way too high on him. I thought with Flacco coming in, they could make something work. He had good connections with him in the past. Just not working out. So some of these picks not looking too good right now. And then Saquon Barkley's good, but when you take him at number 3, it was either number 3 or number 4, need more. 16 a week is great, but just need a bit more from him. Justin Herbert looked great the first few weeks. And the rest of the roster, you can see I've made trades. A lot of the star guys I drafted this year have moved on from. I ended up picking up Pickens. He was great. I had Trey McBride earlier in this year. That's how I got Pickens onto the team. The jury's still out of whether or not I won that trade because I also got JCM in that one and got rid of Pollard. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like a really weird season for me right now. I didn't have the greatest draft. I didn't like my Shakir pick. Might try to move on from him. Actually, did I give you Shakir in the trade earlier today?
You did. Shakir was part of the trade.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. It just, the everybody eats BS that the Bills do. Kincaid's getting so many targets. You saw last night, getting Keon Coleman some stuff. I mean, how Palmer and Curtis Samuel got a reception. I can't hold on to Shakir when I know that the rest of the roster is built that way. And then Schrader being out, I got to replace him this week. But here's the trade. We don't have a graphic for it, but we had a trade go through earlier today. I am acquiring Zay Flowers, Alvin Kamara, and T. Higgins in exchange for Khalil Shakir and Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. I'm trying to upgrade at running back. No, it's just a 3 for 3. So you got Shakir, Pearsall, JCM, and I got Flowers, Kamara, T. Higgins. So I believe that I upgraded at wide receiver. I'm scared with Pearsall coming back. That he has the injury. There's a lot of people on that team that get the football, and you can't force feed Pearsall the ball all season. I don't know if what he was doing was sustainable. And then Shakir, the Bills don't use him enough because they spread the ball around. They've been running it a lot this year. So I was like, 2 depth guys to get someone in Zay Flowers who, when Lamar comes back, should be solid, and then T. Higgins, who you can plug in. He's definitely better than Ayamanor. I can't rely on the Titans to do anything. So and then Alvin Kamara.
You did try to trade me Ayamanor, and I told you no.
Because him and Cam Ward have good chemistry, but when you don't have time to throw the football and his confidence is getting wrecked every week, I can't rely on that BS. So I don't know.
There are 2 teams that I will not touch any players on, and that is the Titans and the Browns. I will not touch any of their players, really. It is very weird that I have David Njoku in the first place because I had faith in him as a tight end. Normally, when Flacco was there a couple years ago and took him to the playoffs, Njoku was his favorite target. So that's why I picked up Njoku, which apparently Dylan Gabriel also uses him as his favorite target. That is why I have him. Other than that, I stay away from anyone Titans and anyone Browns because they're just too much of a wild card. They're unreliable.
Yeah, that's true. I guess one thing that was nice for me to see this week was even though you had Cooper Rush in at quarterback for the Ravens, and this is why I ended up still going with Zay Flowers because you don't know with Lamar how this is going to work. He still got targets. He still caught every single one of those targets, and he put up a solid 12-point week. So if that's going to be his floor this season, and I get the Detroit game didn't do a whole lot, it's Detroit. That is the Goliath of the league going at it. You can't rely on your fantasy guys in those because the game plan can get all murky and interesting. But he did great against Buffalo, great against Cleveland, great against Kansas City, great against Houston. Got the Rams this week. We don't know what the hell the Rams are. They just lost to the 49ers. I'm looking forward to that. But that is our fantasy wrap-up so far this year. We are going to head back over to our normal tab here and move into what's more likely. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a tiger by the toe. I'll go first. How about that?
All right,
let me scroll down here on my notes. What's more likely this week is going to be college football orientated for me. I know for you it's hockey. I'm looking forward to hearing about that because I'm just ready for hockey season because the Cardinals were so unbelievably bad all summer, and I need a St. Louis team to take care of business, get back in the win column, and bring some honor back to our city. All right, what's more likely? Texas is ranked again at some point this season. Penn State is ranked again this season. Or Mizzou makes the playoffs.
Whoo! I like that one.
I figured it was topical. Texas looked like shit again. You lost to Florida. Dude, it's Florida. I mean, Florida has really struggled against the top teams in the SEC this year, and Arch Manning, I mean, he looks like he's pressing. He doesn't look confident right now. So I'm looking ahead at these schedules right now for Texas. They got number 6 Oklahoma this week. I feel like if you want to be ranked again this season, you need to win this football game. After that, you have Kentucky. That should be a W. Mississippi State, they're sneaky good. Should win that football game. Vandy, you don't know. Georgia, Arkansas, it's not looking very likely. Your schedule down, you got 2 ranked teams and a few other 3 ranked teams, and some other fringe schools that, are kind of on the edge of potentially being ranked. Arkansas's ass, though, and Mississippi State has historically ass, and Kentucky's mixed in there, too. And you got SEC bias. So there's that one. And then Penn State, they have the cupcake fucking schedule. You got Northwestern. You better beat them, but I can't trust you after UCLA, but you should beat Northwestern.
That was wild.
Iowa's sneaky sometimes. Ohio State, that's an L. Indiana could be a good football game, but you're assuming we're going to get a good version of Penn State, and then Michigan State, Nebraska, Rutgers down the stretch. And then Mizzou. You got to beat Alabama. So what do you got? What's more likely out of those 3?
So here's the thing. I think Texas or Penn State being ranked is more likely than Mizzou playoff berth. Purely because Mizzou, I believe, has been snuffed of being in the playoffs. They throw them in a lower bowl game, and then obviously Mizzou dominates the lower bowl game, and they do really well. That's phenomenal. That's great. However, you're talking about Penn State having a cupcake ass schedule. And then Texas, they're playing some of those ranked teams, but lower ranked teams. You want to hear what Mizzou has coming up? Mind you, people are saying this Alabama game is all telling. No, it's not. No, it's really not. What's going to be telling is Saturday, October 25th, they play Vandy. Right?
True.
Now, they're ranked higher than Vandy, but they are still playing Vandy. Saturday, November 8th, the week after that, because they have a bye week,
Texas
week 10,
A&M.
week 11, they play number 5 Texas A&M. After that, Mississippi State, they should beat them, no issues whatsoever. And then after that, week 13, so this will be one of their final weeks, they play number 6 ranked Oklahoma. You want to talk about, I've also said earlier, in previous episodes, I don't put much, I don't put much stock into those AP rankings. However,
the voters do. And that's what matters.
They are some top teams. And if we're going to go based off that, we're going to go based off that. Mizzou has to play 2 top 10 teams to get into the playoffs. And because of how college playoffs are, if you get to 2 losses on your season, you'll get a bowl game. You won't get playoffs, you'll get a bowl game.
Though. What if
they might?
What if they play them really tight? Let's just say you lose to Alabama by a score. You dismantle Vanderbilt, because I think they have the potential to do that to Vandy. And then the Texas A&M game, you win one of those 2 last ones. I think if you can beat have 2 top 10 wins on your schedule this year, and then lose everything else close, have 2 losses, but they're really good quality losses. And the way they've taken care of the rest of the schedule, too, they're blowing teams out. I feel like they could get that last seed, be one of the at-large teams. Yeah,
but I think my issue is I know that, Mizzou has never really gotten a fair shake with these AP polls. Mizzou has never really gotten a fair shake with this voting. They could be only 1 loss on the season, and they're not even ranked. Whereas, again, you'll see, Notre Dame, who just went to the college playoffs, they're 3-2, and they stay ranked. Or even when they're 0-2, they stay ranked. Or Bama, who is not playing like how Bama used to, they're still a top 10 team.
Yeah, but they just killed Vandy. I understand they shouldn't be ranked that high, and that's always the complaint with them, is they get special privilege. But I don't know. Mizzou this year, you can say that they played against Central Arkansas, FCS, UMass, shitty FBS, and then they also had the game against Louisiana. Those are games that you should win. And then the Kansas game, coming into it, Kansas had some expectations. Mizzou took care of business but didn't dominate. So maybe I could see it where the non-con schedule doesn't impress the voters. But that's how SEC teams, all of them do it. They play shitty non-cons, and then they do okay in conference play, and they overvalue it. So I would go Mizzou on this, but you're going Penn State being ranked again, or Texas?
I'd probably go Penn State being ranked, because you got to think Penn State made it pretty far into the playoffs last year. I think, and we looked at the AP polls before we started this, Texas and Penn State are right there. The only person that is beating both of those teams right now in votes to get in the top 25 is, surprise, surprise, literally surprise, surprise, the Cincinnati Bearcats.
Wow. Good for them. Huge.
Good for them. But that is the only team right now that is like bordering getting into the top 25. So I think if Texas wins this week, yeah, they're in the top 25 again. I think if Penn State wins this week, which they should, yeah, they're in the top 25 again. Mizzou getting a playoff berth, we're going to have to wait a few weeks to see if they get there. Now, your boy is going to the Bama game. Your boy is going to the Mizzou-Bama game. I'm going with my grandma. And my grandma is a very devout Bama fan. I asked her, even last year when I first started getting into college ball, like, about Bama. And I don't think I've ever heard my grandma talk that passionately about anything in a while. And I was like, man, Grandma, you know Bama football.
She knows
all
ball.
right. And, she had some words to say about that new coach. She's like, man, he's trying to copy Saban, and he sucks. And I'm like, oh my God, Grandma, my. So I get to go to a Bama Mizzou game with her. I can tell she's going to get up out of her seat and be really excited for Alabama. I'm a Missouri fan, so that's going to be fun for us to have that sort of contrast. So
are you going to be allowed to be loud and obnoxious, though? Like, are you going to be the respectful grandson and shut your mouth, or are you going to get up on your feet, be loud?
I'm not going to taunt her.
Bro, yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to taunt her and be rude to her. However, I'm going to get excited. Unless it's like, hi, Daddy. Unless, like, proper setting. If I'm in the fans, or if I'm in the stands with the fans, yeah, I'm going to get up. I'm going to get rowdy. I'm going to get excited. It's a football game. Why wouldn't I get excited? But if it's something like I'm sitting with some older people, I'll watch the game and I'll get excited in my head and I'll get real hyped up, but I'm not going to like start jumping up. I think it's situational.
Yeah.
It depends on who I'm sitting with, because I can't imagine if my grandma's like going, she wants to sit with all the college kids,
Probably. It's probably going to be some upper bowl seating. Yeah. But they're expensive. It's an SEC football game. It's a ranked game.
Oh, yeah.
Two big teams. Going to be a matchup to definitely watch. But that's my what's more likely this week. What do you got for me?
So my what's more likely is kind of in the same vein. But this has to do with Lord Stanley. The season starts this week, right? Mm-hmm. We still have a lot of we have all the hockey left to play. The Blues didn't look good in the preseason, but the Panthers are also kind of still looking like themselves. So, could the Florida Panthers go on a three-peat for Lord Stanley? Or will the Blues actually make a deep playoff run this year? They've made some roster improvements. They've let go of some guys that we thought we'd keep in favor of some young prospects like Jimmy Snuggerud. But Florida's still that dominant, the one to beat back-to-back. It's hard, it's hard to argue it. So, I know, kind of looking into the hockey stats, which would you think is more likely? Florida Panthers going on a three-peat, or the Blues actually making a deep playoff run?
When you say deep playoff run, what round? Round 2, round 3?
Let's say round 3.
Round 3. Shit. Well, we already know the Panthers have the talent to get there. They have the coaching to get there. They have the team to get there. But three-peating is nigh impossible. Haven't seen that since the 80s, I believe. 80s, 90s. Was the last team to do it the Oilers? That sounds right. Oilers or the Islanders, one of them, because they both won 4 in a row at some point. So the Blues this year, the regular season, of course, is just getting into the playoffs. And the fact is the Blues have to even think about doing that. So there's probably a 25% chance in my mind that we don't make it. And then you got the 50-50 getting through the first round. And then probably another 25% chance of getting it to the third. So I'll go with the Panthers on this one. I think the Blues are a second-round team. I think they can be. But you're assuming everyone stays healthy, no one regresses, the young guys produce, and the power play. Because I think our defense is better this year. Our depth is going to be stronger. But the power play special teams, that really means a lot, especially come playoff time. And I don't like the way we've constructed it so far. You took Buchnevich at this point, you re-signed him, you took a gamble on him, hasn't been the guy I was hoping he would be, hasn't produced at the right level. Having him on your top power play line at this point does not make a lot of sense to me. Put some other guys up there who have a better shot, and then Fowler being your captain of the power play, like being the quarterback back there, I don't hate it because he was good at it last year, but he's getting older. He just got a contract. Is he going to be the same guy? And then the Panthers on the other side, you know what they are. You know they're going to be solid, and they probably have a better chance of three-peating than the Blues do of making it to the third round into the conference finals. And that reminds me, we skipped over something earlier in the show.
Did we?
Yes, we did. Back on our hockey story, we just talked about the preseason game. We didn't get our predictions in for the teams. So, do you want to go first or me for predictions? Or do we want to go? We can go division by division too. You just want to start off with the Atlantic division and go from there.
Yeah. So for the Atlantic, I think with the moves that they're making, or especially with the dominance, they have the system built, they have the players built, they've made the moves, they've kept everybody healthy and ready to go. I don't see any. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And it ain't broke, and they didn't really fix it. If anything, they reinforced it. I got the Florida Panthers winning that division. I really do. I think they're going to still be dominant. I don't think any of these other teams have really made strides. I think the only one that is really going to come into play that may fight them on it is the Tampa Bay Lightning. I think the Tampa Bay Lightning have a shot, but it's an uphill battle. It's an uphill battle. You're going for the king, and you know, if you go for the king, you best not miss. Tampa Bay Lightning. You kind of saw a preview of how those games are going to go with them in the final preseason. I hope to God that doesn't happen again, because if that happens every single time they play this season, it's going to be an absolute shit show. However, I still see the Florida Panthers taking it over, with possibly the Lightning making a surprise, strive for the number one.
I will go with the Lightning on this one. When they play each other, I think the Panthers will have the edge. But the Lightning are just a better hockey team, and this offseason, they got better. I like the depth they added to the team, because for them, it's always been their top two lines. Their power play carries them. This year, reinforce the bottom six forward group, get some guys in there that can make a bigger impact, and I just think they're more suited for regular season success than the Panthers, because the Panthers have injuries to Tkachuk. You have other injuries across the roster, and I'm just saying a blanket statement because I can't remember exactly who's out off the top of my head, but I know there's another big guy out right now. So the Lightning can get off to a better start. They're more suited for regular season hockey. So give me the Lightning here in the Atlantic. And I'll start off the Metro for us. Last year, the Capitals, they were a big surprise team for everybody. They caught lightning in a bottle. You looked at their team and you're like, dude, how are they winning? Like, how? And then you realized, oh yeah, they were perfectly healthy the whole year with an old core. Nobody went down. Everyone had career seasons. That is not repeatable. They'll be fine. They'll be a playoff team, and they're trying to build a team that can win a cup, because this could be Ovi's last season. He's won a cup. He broke the record. What else does he have to play for?
Is Ovi back this season?
He is back this year. So the question is, how long is he going to stay? But let's be real. I mean, he's achieved everything he wanted to. He won his cup. He broke the goal record. The Capitals are going to make a final push here, but there's another team in the division that is the embodiment of consistency, and the Carolina Hurricanes. The Hurricanes, let's be real, they made splashes. They tried to get better. They brought in guys who have won in the playoffs. Jonathan Toews, Gustav Nyquist. They bring in Velarde. They have cap space to add at the deadline. This is really important for them. And also, that's the wrong team. I'm looking at the wrong notes. Excuse me, that was really bad. They did not bring in Tays, Nyquist, and Velarde. I don't know why I'm reading off of that. I meant to talk about their depth that they signed. That was really unfortunate. Because I was saying that, and I'm like, that does not sound right, but I wrote it down, so I'm going to go with it. That was the Jets I'm talking about. And we'll get to them. I like the Jets offseason a lot, which I guess spoils it. I have the Jets in the Central. Shocker. I'm not big on the Avs and the Stars. I don't like their moves in the offseason. The Jets offseason moves were good. But I was reading it, and I'm like, that doesn't sound right, but maybe, no. That was bad.
No.
But, no, the Hurricanes extended Stankoven. They brought in Nikolai Ehlers. I like their moves in the offseason. They got better as a team, and there's questions about them in the playoffs, but the regular season, the Hurricanes are usually a solid team, and Rod Brindamore usually has them playing good physical hockey, which, gets you ready for the playoffs and does you well in the regular season.
Yeah. I think I more or less kind of had to go with the same. I think the only other time is I'd maybe go for Washington Capitals. Purely because, well, as you heard, I didn't know Ovechkin was back. I thought he would have retired. I'm not gonna lie. He got his stats. He got it. He's gotten his wins. He's gotten his his name is now accompanied as like a Mr. Hockey name, right? Dude's got nothing left to really strive for other than possibly another Stanley Cup. And I think the Washington Capitals want to make that happen for him. So I could see them trying to make that push. But kind of like you said, you never really count the Hurricanes out because they have been constantly the talk of the town with the Metropolitan Division. They're constantly making the right moves. They're building around the young players that they need to. I think the Hurricane, I kind of have to agree with that one because, they don't really have a lot of competition in that division other than the Washington Capitals, maybe the Pittsburgh Penguins. But
I say this, the Penguins are probably going to be bad. I actually have them as a lottery team. The Devils are a team to watch. They're my number 2 right now. The Devils, they have good talent on their roster. They made nice strides last year, got back in the playoffs. But we'll move on to the Central, and I'm just going to start us off again because I already spoiled it. The Stars and the Avs lost depth pieces. The Stars have a new coach, and I don't know how that's going to work for them. And with the way the last season ended with all the drama in the playoffs, I don't like that moving into the next year. Momentum, morale, it's not quite there. They're like the Buffalo Bills of the Western Conference they're good every year, and then they don't get anything done, and then the regular season doesn't feel like it matters too much. It's status quo. I think they're just going to get fat and lazy here, and they're not going to be great this year. The Avalanche as well. Yeah, you get your captain back. He hasn't played a full season for you. Landeskog's great. But you also had cap crunches where you had to get rid of players, get rid of depth. And the Winnipeg Jets, like I mentioned earlier, when I was trying to talk about the Hurricanes, I'm totally not butthurt about that. That totally didn't make me look like an idiot. You added talent. You added Tays. You added Nyquist. You add Velarde. And you still have the cap. You still have room to get better. And while you're not the biggest free agency destination at the deadline, players don't have a lot of choices with that. If they get traded somewhere, they get traded somewhere. And the Jets are a good destination right now. I have them as my top team in the Central. I am really insulted that the way Vegas is set up, that they think that the Wild are going to be better than the Blues and that the Mammoth are on the same level as the Blues. I'm insulted by that as a Blues fan this year.
No, that is absolutely, heresy. Heresy. That's all that is. And actually, I think I'm going to disagree with you. I'm going to go with the hometown. I'm going to go with the Blues on this one. The Blues have brought young players up, and I think that last year going into the playoff run, they realized the mistakes that they needed to make, and I think in the offseason they adjusted to that. They created new situations for those young players. And again, like I mentioned earlier, they've moved away from some veterans that have been instrumental to Blues hockey winning, but they're doing it for young, hungry prospects that came in at the end of last year, Snuggerud, and dominated for us. So I think, and it's not like the Blues were terrible last season.
Yeah, they were just mid and they got hot.
They were mid, got hot, and then they settled down. They iced out.
Haha.
You like that joke?
Yeah.
They iced out. I think the Blues are making the strides. I think they're making the moves, and I think that they finally had the identity that they want. Now, will I think they win the Stanley Cup? No. Not yet. Not yet. I think they still got a few years left to go again. However, do I think that they win the division, and do I think that they, make a deep playoff run? Yes. So give me the Blues for the Central.
That's
I'm a big hometown team.
Very Homer of you, but I respect it, One of the big trades, when I saw we moved on from Bolduc, I was really shocked by that. It was another great shot that you had on the roster, someone who had a really good playoff appearance. I mean, he was outstanding. He was everywhere on the ice. He was hitting everything that moved. And when I saw we moved on from him, I was concerned, especially for a guy like Mailloux, who has some controversy earlier in his career, but he's looked good. And I think he's going to slot in really nicely on this team. And you really shored up the depth. I like our third line a lot more this year. The players we had last year just didn't make a big impact on the third. And our fourth line, keeping it together, still physical, still good. I just don't think it's enough to take down a team like Winnipeg, who, even if you outplay them, in the regular season, Hellebuck's going to be a Vezina contender. It's hard to score goals on the Winnipeg Jets. So that's all I got there. We're going to move on to the Pacific. I'll lead us off because Jets are taking care of something right now. So in the Pacific, I'm going to go with the Golden Knights here. Golden Knights won last year. They went 50, 22, and 10. Very, very impressive stuff from them. As you'd always expect, they're a team that's no BS. If you're not performing, we're going to get someone better. And it doesn't matter how we go about doing it. And this offseason, they added Mitch regular season Marner. And I'm giving him that nickname because he's so bad in the playoffs. But we're looking at the regular season here. You have so much talent on this roster. Scoring's not going to be an issue. And I look at the rest of the division. I say, well, the Kings, they got better. But their star players are a little old. Some of their leadership guys aren't going to probably be as good as they want them to be. And then the Oilers right now with their defense and goaltending situation, I don't trust them in the regular season. We know they're good in the postseason. Their top guys step up. But, they always have questions in net, and their back end just doesn't do it for me. What?
So, viewers, you know me. You know how wacky I can be. And you'll see later in the week how the pick'ems rolled, because me and Zuggy here talked about our pick'ems a little bit before the show started, and there was one that really shocked him. So Thursday, please tune into the show, and you'll see
the Jets. You mean to tell me you picked these guys?
Maybe. However, I think I got another one for y'all.
Oh, God.
Give me an underdog. Give me one that nobody's thinking of. Give me one that really has no shot, but if it ever works out, I'm the guru of hockey.
Can I say something really fast?
Go for it.
I'm scared because, you're kind of new to this whole hockey thing. And for you to have a hot take to come out of nowhere, if it's not one of the top 3 teams, I would really love to understand your thought process on this.
Give me the San Jose Sharks.
Why? Oh, my God. Why? They're better. They got young talent, but you're joking. You're fucking with me.
Give me the San Jose Sharks.
They had 52 points last year. They were bad.
I know. Give me the San Jose Sharks.
Why? Give me a reason why other than you're just fucking around.
I like...
I know you don't study these rosters. I know you knew nothing about the Sharks before you did your research today. So how the fuck are the Sharks winning the Pacific?
Honestly, I like the build. I like the gusto. I like the emphasis on the teamwork. Give me the Sharks.
Let's see. So,
give me the San Jose Sharks.
Yeah, you got Macklin, Celebrini. Yeah, you're improving the roster slowly. You're building that depth. But they're just, I would have figured, okay, when you said that, I was like, okay, he's going to go with the Flames or the Ducks. Because the Ducks were sneaky. They were hot last year. The Flames, didn't make the playoffs, but they have a great new goaltender in Dustin Wolf. Their offseason wasn't crazy, and their star players are overpaid, but cap went up. You can add. I just don't see it with the Sharks. I mean, they gave up 105 more goals than they scored last year. They're getting outscored by over a goal a game.
It's happened a couple times this season where I've said something that's been a long shot and it happened. Just come back to this very episode when the San Jose Sharks go and win the Stanley Cup.
If you take
that's a joke.
If you take
That's
a million, if you take a million long shots, one eventually goes in. So that's kind of how you've gone on the show so far, and eventually one hit. And it wasn't even that bad. Yeah, you took the Broncos over the Eagles. Well, the Broncos aren't a terrible football team. I don't hate it. I wouldn't go there, but you know. But anyways, that is all for our NHL predictions. We got those out of here. Actually, no, it's not. I keep skipping over things. Who do you got winning the Cup this year?
San Jose Sharks? No, I'm kidding. I'm messing with you. I'm messing with you.
Oh,
This
guy's fucking trolling.
I think out of everybody to win the Cup, I genuinely believe a Florida Panthers like three-peat is on the table. I don't think it's like completely out of the realm of possibility. I maybe a Vegas Golden Knights. Maybe they come back because they're just kind of sneaky like that.
Yeah,
they do that.
They
like
good.
they start kind of slow, but then they pick up, and then when they get to the postseason, that they like take some crack off the ice, and they just decide to play ungodly and win the Stanley Cup. But I genuinely think it's between the Atlantic or maybe the Pacific. I don't think the Central has anybody that's really going to impress.
Really?
The Winnipeg Jets maybe with some of the things that you were talking about. But I mean, I think the closest we got was the Edmonton Oilers. They came second place last year. Maybe the Oilers try to make it back with, a few depleted pieces. But
I don't see that.
I think give me the Florida Panthers again. I think they three-peat. I think they do it again. And this isn't like a glazing situation where they're like, they're the best hockey team in the world. It's like, no, they made good off-season trade, like
they re-signed everyone. They brought everyone back.
They brought everybody back. They're like, we have a formula, it works. We have the players we know can work it, and like they understand our game plan. So like it's like they're aging, but like maybe they do it.
I mean, we mentioned earlier, I think it's more likely than the Blues taking a run, but the rest of the league is trying to copy them right now. It's a copycat league. Everyone else is copying them. Someone's going to figure it out. And I got the Jets winning the President's Trophy, and they're going to be the team to break the curse of the President's Trophy this year because they added people that can win. Taves being on that roster to me means so much. A guy who's played playoff hockey a lot over his career, has won a bunch of cups, has been a star player for a long time. Yeah, is he gonna be the same guy that he was before all these injuries? No. But him just being there and helping out, especially with some of the young guys on the team, that is really important to me. And then in net, Hellebuck, he didn't have the greatest playoffs last year. The Blues chased him in net a few times. But if he's himself in the playoffs, I got the Jets winning this year because the Knights, you added Marner. Marner does not play playoff hockey, does not move the needle for me in their playoff success. Petrangelo's not going to be in there this year. That's a guy who could really help you out. The Knights will be good. They'll probably win a round. I'm going with the Jets, and that is our hockey predictions. And we're going to move on to our hot takes of the week as we move into the trenches and towards the end of the show here. So,
and you know what? I'll go ahead and take over into the trenches first and foremost because mine goes with your favorite team.
Oh, God. Which one?
Yes,
the Bills?
Yes. So, yes, the Bills.
Oh, fuck.
So, we opened this up. Like, we talked before the show, and you're like, I don't want to give the Bills the time of day. That was embarrassing. That was awful. Like, they shouldn't have lost that game. And they... Spike it. I'm done with it. However, with their win over Buffalo, I think it is more likely that we see the Patriots back in the playoffs this year over the Baltimore Ravens.
I like it. I actually really like that a lot.
Yeah.
The Ravens look like shit. Their defense looks
they're awful.
Awful.
They're 1-4.
And Vrabel's a good head coach. The Patriots are playing good football right now. I actually really like that hot take. Some people in Baltimore are fucking fuming at what you just said.
Oh,
but I like that. That is a solid take.
Baltimore is going to hate me, right? Because I just spoke slander of the Ravens.
And good. You're a Bengals fan,
saying they're not
too.
God's gift to green earth. However, the Patriots are playing better. The Bills are playing better. The Chiefs are somehow playing better. The Chiefs beat you after... God, dude, the Ravens, you're terrible. And you don't have Like, you don't have Lamar Jackson for at least like another 2-3 weeks. That's if they don't put him on IR. If they put him on IR, he's out for the next like 4 weeks minimum. And Cooper Rush is not your guy. Just like how Jake Browning is not our guy, and the Cincinnati Bengals actually came out, like Zach Taylor came out this morning and said that they're going to look for other options other than Jake Browning. Thank God. They should have never cut me. There's a reason Minnesota cut you. Anyway,
Yeah, he's fine in a
my little
pinch.
tirade.
He's fine in a pinch, but if you kind of like actually game plan for him, you get a week to like prepare for Jake Browning. You're gonna beat Jake Browning. He's not a.
Oh yeah.
It's like the Jaguars didn't have a chance because they didn't know that Burrow was gonna die and Browning was gonna come in that game, and they still picked him off 3 times.
Which, God, don't remind me. We
You
almost
won.
lost that
Yeah,
game.
but you won. The fact is, a
We
backup
won.
came in and you won a game that you were supposed to win originally.
But
It's okay.
here's the thing. But the Ravens, you're 1-4. And you were 1-3 with Lamar. Mind you, with all your Super Bowl roster pieces, you were 1-3. Now you're 1-4 because you had Cooper Rush. But you still had Mark Andrews, you still had Derrick Henry, you still had Justice Hill. Like, you had reliable pieces that you didn't have to constantly have, like Cooper Rush throwing the ball, as well as you were playing the Texans. Me and Zuggy have been very adamantly anti-Texan this season because, like you said, your hot take a couple weeks ago, CJ Stroud is just Derek Carr 2.0, and honestly, I think Derek Carr might have been better than CJ Stroud.
Yeah.
That's another little hot take for you. I think Derek Carr was better than CJ Stroud, but he got thrown to the Saints, and the Saints is where careers go to die now.
Yeah. No, that's valid.
R.I.P. Spencer Rattler. Sorry.
I like
you
your
never
pick
had a chance.
with the Patriots. My
Yeah.
only thing is I'm looking at it right now. You have the Colts, Bills, Steelers, Chargers, Jags, Broncos, Patriots in the 7th spot right now. Kansas City wins tonight. You'll see Kansas City move up. So the question is, can the Patriots keep pace with the Jags? I think that's my biggest question right now because the Steelers,
Time
right
out.
now are gonna.
Timeout. Kansas City won't move up. You got to think. Patriots are 2-0 in their division. Kansas City's
just
not
saying,
playing
like,
somebody from their division,
I'm saying
so
end
they
of the
won't move up.
season. Like end of the season, you're gonna be
okay,
thinking like,
okay.
Kansas City's probably gonna have a better record than the Patriots. Let's be real here.
Probably, yeah.
I mean, they might
yeah.
not with their slow start here, but of all the teams here, the one I'm least confident in is the Jaguars. So if the Patriots can just be better than the Jags, because neither one's going to win their division. The Colts are winning the Jags division, and the Patriots aren't beating the Bills for the division. I hope. I really do hope. I mean, we should win the fucking division over the damn Patriots. So yeah, that's
I think
where
you
I'm
have
at. But
the
I like
least.
it. I mean, the Ravens have a big uphill battle. They're going to have to win a bunch of games here really quickly. I don't see it happening. I like your hot take. I really do.
Yeah. Well, what's your division again? It's the Bills, it's the Pats, it's the Dolphins,
And the Jets.
Who's the last one?
The Jets.
And the Jets.
And the Jets are bad. Really bad.
The Jets
this
are
year.
the only. We're going to get into the wins and losses and I'll exactly explain why the Jets are really
Well,
not
we'll do that on
part of the
Thursday.
division.
Thursday, we're going to do that. So.
Oh, Thursday wins and
Yeah,
losses?
we're
Got
going to
it.
do
So,
AP 25 today.
Okay. So, yeah, the Jets. No shot.
We're beating
No shot. The Patriots are your biggest enemy right now for that division, but the Bills should win it. And the Colts, nobody saw the Colts coming. Nobody saw the Colts coming.
Nope.
I didn't see them
No,
coming.
we shit all over them before the season. I
We
mean,
did.
We were active haters of them. But I
Danny
like it.
Dams ain't gonna do nothing.
We got to keep on moving. I like your
right.
Patriots pick. I'm going to move on to my hot
Yes,
take
sir.
because we got to get rolling here. This has already been an hour and 8-minute show today, which is great. I mean, I'm really happy we have it going. Has anyone been chatting?
Oh yeah. We got one person. We got Mr. James Ken.
Yeah, that I know who that is. That's my partner. So he's just here fucking around. All right. My hot take right now. So I like ESPN as an idea. It's been great for so many years. The fact is, you can turn it on and you get sports coverage 24/7. But right now, with their Major League Baseball and NHL coverage, they need to drop it. If you don't care about it, if all you care about is the NFL and NBA, which is fine, there's a lot of money to be made there. Drop your live television coverage of them. Because you don't talk about them on the talk shows anyways. There's never any analyst going in and talking about the NHL. I've never heard any analyst, as a matter of fact, on any sports show outside of the NHL's own sponsored stuff, go into the film and the positioning and all the small technical things with hockey. I've never heard it on ESPN because they don't give a shit about it. Same with Major League Baseball. They barely ever talk about it unless it's a Paul Skeens, Ohtani, a Judge, or even this year, Cal Raleigh. Maybe. So for me, they need to drop these things 1,000,000%. And I don't just say that because, I'm upset with their coverage of it. From a broadcaster standpoint, I work in broadcast currently. You cannot mute crowd noise on home runs. You cannot have announcers who aren't in the stadium for NHL playoff games. That's unacceptable. The fact is, if you truly care about something, you'll show up. And that shows me they don't care about the NHL and they don't understand what Major League Baseball fans want. And then Major League Baseball themselves, the way they promoted the playoffs this year, haven't liked it, and ESPN's ran with it. But my biggest thing...
I was about to say,
No, you're good. I'll let you go in because this is kind of a different section of it.
I think I really like this hot take because, there's that Twitter X account, whatever, of awful announcing, right? Mm-hmm. And they caught somebody who was calling an MLB baseball game, advertising, I think it was the Panthers Lightning game.
The opening night for ESPN, and live stuff on their channel.
And they were like, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to watch it. I have no desire to watch it. I'm going to watch literally anything else. I'm like, you are a broadcast announcer. How can you say that on live air, dude?
You can't.
Like, you're supposed to be advertising that, and you are actively saying, no, I'm not going to watch that. No, I don't want to watch that.
And honestly,
why?
He should be removed from their broadcast for the next while because that's unacceptable. Mm-hmm. I understand that they're done with baseball for the year, that they're not going to have any more of the games. And their contract's going to run out. But I hope they just continue to lose ground in these sports because other people take care of it. And I'm really upset that, and I didn't like them back in the day. I didn't appreciate them. But NBC, when they had the rights to hockey, their presentation, the announcing, the way they went about it was beautiful. It was everything you could ask for. And you don't have that nowadays. And then also one nitpick that people don't know about, the graphics they sent out to us ESPN Plus schools, we're an FCS school that we go to. When they sent out the new graphics packages, stuff was broken on them. Their people didn't send them stuff that worked with all the programs. So you're sending school stuff, and they can't edit things. Certain things aren't working. Certain widgets aren't working. You had a while to test these things. You got to get them right. So it's even the small back-end stuff that people don't realize that they're dropping the ball on. And one of the stories I saw today, so they have a big no politics policy at ESPN, which is good. You tune on. You don't want to listen to them talk about politics, except
which is good.
They do. A lot of their hosts and analysts, they're race baiting, trying to get people riled up over things that don't matter. They don't focus on the sports. You have people on their shows that don't even care at all. They just talk about the big market teams. So you have some analysts on there that do talk about politics and also aren't very good at their jobs. And one of them that's like okay at their job is Paul Finebaum. I don't love him, but he's not bad. And there's debate today over whether or not ESPN is going to fire him because he's attempting to maybe run for an office in Alabama. And like we're citizens, right? Like that's like our right. That's like one of the cool things about the country is like you can run for office. As long as you don't talk about stuff on air and make it like a part of your thing, I'm fine with that. Yeah. But you had Stephen A. Smith who was like considering to run for office a while back, and they just kind of like,
You kept him on because he was a big name.
I'm like, I don't know. ESPN right now, my hot take is that they really need to take a look in the mirror and understand that public perception of them is kind of at an all-time low. Your NBA and your NFL coverage is pretty solid, but outside of that, I'm not happy with how you guys are covering things.
I'm not a fan of ESPN and all that. And this is going to be weird, and this is a little bit of an untouched for this show. WWE. WWE went from doing all their pay-per-views on, on Peacock, and you could have their whole catalog and everything. But now, all their pay-per-views and everything are on ESPN for some reason.
Right.
And ESPN got their own special pay-per-view called WrestlePalooza, which was by far one of the worst pay-per-views that WWE has done over the past couple years. And even ESPN, who just spent billions of dollars getting them, trashed their own special. Like, they didn't even hype it up.
Right.
They advertised it. But even then, they didn't have their own commentators try to hype it up. Kind of like you said, they don't care unless it's a big market or whatever. WWE's taboo. but they just spent billions of dollars getting it. So you might want to,
I think a lot of it is just
advertise
like
it.
Disney owns it now, and you've seen the decisions they've made recently with what they've invested money into. They don't know what the
Yeah.
hell they're doing, and they're taking ESPN down with them. Because if you had a true person who appreciated sports at the helm of ESPN, some of the issues they have are like really simple. I feel like if I sat in on one of those broadcasts and I was in the broadcast truck, you could fix it. Like, it just, like, for the NHL, it's sound mixing and how you go about things and when you time certain segments coming in and promotions. Just, there's so many easy things they could fix, but they're so big and so stretched out that they can't focus on it right now. But those are our hot takes of the week, and we got more hot takes coming up in Battle of the Bets. And here is the Battle of the Bets board. Now, the way this works is each week we put together a 3-leg parlay, and at the end of the month, whoever has won the most money, or if we're tied, the most amount of legs on their parlays, will be the winner. I am 2-0 this year, and I am up $150. Jet, been on the struggle bus, 0-2, but this week you're going to try to change that with your first bet. So what do you have for us?
So,
Uh-oh.
as of right now, I have Shohei Ohtani.
Hang on.
Oh,
Talk about your bet. I'm going to try to do some quick fixing on some graphics because I believe I have broken something.
go for it. Everybody pay attention to my beautiful
Yeah, look
little
at the
face
guy
here for a
down there
minute.
and maybe the Battle
Look
of the
at me
Bets
real
board. I
quick, and
gotta
I'll
fix some
explain to you
stuff.
real hardcore, real quick, what is going to happen. So, Shohei Ohtani, normally he's pretty good, but the pitcher that he's going against, he only has 2 hits out of 14. Now, those 2 hits have resulted in 2 home runs. However, that is 14 at-bats it took him to get those 2 home runs against this specific pitcher that the Dodgers are playing against in Philly. So, I have Shohei Ohtani lower than 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs, however, because he legitimately does not have 2 back-to-back hits against this pitcher. He is there. He is just stuck. So, I'm going the lower, believe it or not, on a bet. It hasn't happened in a while, but we're getting desperate out here,
I mean,
man.
but
Cut
still,
me some slack.
that one hit that he gets could be a hit and an RBI because he could hit a homer or get someone on base.
That's true.
So
That's true.
that's the bad thing about this one is it's not just straight up hits because I like it if it's hits, but this could be tough if they
Hits,
get runners
runs,
on
and
base.
RBIs, yeah.
Yeah, so
But-
this could be tough for you.
I will say, the stat line includes, it's 2 home runs, but it's 2 RBIs. So, I think those 2 RBIs are the ones that he batted in, like he batted himself in. So, I think ultimately, I might be safe on this one. This one is a little bit of a crapshoot. We'll see. My next one, Xavier Worthy, higher than 57.5 receiving yards. Worthy's been the primary target. Rashee Rice doesn't come back for another week or 2. Worthy has been their primary target, and he's starting to get into a flow with Mahomes. I mean, if he doesn't hit 58 yards, that would honestly shock me. If all of a sudden Hollywood Brown is the primary target, that would really shock me. Just because he's a little bit of a veteran, the longevity, you don't really know if you want to have, a quick out route runner instead of your long shot doing that.
Right.
So I think Xavier Worthy higher than 57.5 yards.
We could see some Xavier Worthy versus Travis Hunter tonight.
We could, and I honestly think that they might try to prove that, hey, Xavier Worthy's that dog.
Yeah, we should
Like,
draft
we're gonna put Travis Hunter, on show that he can't stop our fastest receiver. But yeah, give me the higher on that one, and then in my third and final one, he's a former Cardinal, but that's not the reason I'm picking him. The reason I'm picking him is actually because he's done better outside of the Cardinals than he's done on the Cardinals.
Debatable.
Jack, debatable, but true. It is true. He's done better outside of the Cardinals organization than he did in. He had a couple good years, but he's been consistently reliable outside of the Cardinals. I'm not saying he's not fantastic outside of the Cardinals, but he is consistently
defend your point.
reliable.
I want you to defend it. I think we'll just have to agree to disagree.
Yeah, he is consistently reliable outside of the Cardinals. So, I have him higher than 5.5 strikeouts on this one. It's going to be super competitive because this is the Detroit versus Mariners. It has been a slugfest for them. Again, they are the only one right now that is tied 1-1 going into their third game, but that's also because they're only the second series going into the third game. The other one is a Blue Jays versus the Yankees, and the Yankees are about to get outswept. However, I think the Mariners, I think the Mariners and the Tigers are going to go the distance on this one, and I think Jack Flaherty definitely gets that 5.5 strikeouts. But again, all this, I'm betting $25. I get 172, which even if I hit this, I'm still in the negative by, I think, 28. But
yes.
I put a big dent in that negative, and I've still got 75 to work with for the rest of the month. And maybe I just, throw a Hail Mary in there in the middle of the month and then try to recoup my losses. Who knows? But
the fact is, each month, I've won one bet, and that's been enough.
Yeah.
That's not... I mean, all you got to do is win one right now. It doesn't even have to be for a lot, and who knows if I don't hit. But I think I'm going to hit. And I got some big odds on this one. We got $25 to win 303. This would be the dagger, and it's all stuff I feel pretty confident in. Yeah, I see your mouth's open.
Brother, what the hell?
I can't believe the odds are on this, but it's because...
Oh, my God.
The odds get crazy because it's 2 on the same player, and if he has a bad game, well, probably both of these aren't going to happen. But here's the thing. Logan Gilbert is a good pitcher. And for me, the last 2 times he's gone against the Tigers, he's been pretty solid. He's had 10 Ks and 9 Ks. And I know it's the playoffs. You can plan for him a bit more. But, 10 and 9 are a little bit higher than 6.5. And while, yes, his season averages have been down and he struggled towards the end, I think he matches up well against this Tigers roster. So give me higher 6.5. And then the pitching outs, you might say, well, he's going higher on strikeouts. You think he's going to have a good game? Yeah, he'll be all right. But the Mariners bullpen is going to be rested and ready to go. You say 15.5 pitching outs. That means he has to get through 5 innings and then go 1 out into that inning. I feel like they might pull him early. I do. You have the bullpen ready. If he gets rocked or gives up some runs early, which is very possible because he's struggled a bit down the stretch, give me lower on that. They might pull him out and just say, hey, get the relievers in there. We're going to try to finish this game with the bullpen. And then Blake Snell, historically not the greatest against the Phillies, but the last 2 times out, he's been pretty solid. I'm just going to go over 7.5 strikeouts because that's been in line with how he finished the season and the last 2 times he went against the Phillies. 25 to win 303. Some long odds.
Oh, my
Gilbert's
God.
going to probably break my heart on this one because that lower on pitching outs, I don't know. The Mariners, you do want to say bullpen in these series. So if they get up early, they'll probably stretch them out. But these games have been so tight and so hard to score runs in. I'm going to go with the lower on that one, but that's where the big odds. That's the one that could break my back on this, and that was Battle of the Bets. For this week, okay, we had an issue with graphics. I fixed it. We're on to our final segment. It's wins and losses, and wins and losses this week is going to be a tiny bit different, especially if I can't get the media capture thing to work. So hang on. Hold on to your hats, ladies and gentlemen. I believe there it is. Here we are. It is the AP poll. Just Jet's favorite thing in the whole wide world. He loves the AP poll. He just absolutely adores it. Doesn't think it's a broken system whatsoever.
It's perfect. It's the greatest way to rank every college team whatsoever.
So this week, the AP poll actually did the thing they were supposed to do, which is shut up, AP. They took Texas and Penn State out, barely. They're barely out. And then you have other schools that are trying to get in, but I actually really like it. I like that South Florida's back in. Their only loss in the season is to a really solid ranked team. They've already have a few ranked wins under their belt, getting some respect. Memphis is up here, 6-0 on the season. Nothing to shake a stick at. Maybe they haven't played the greatest teams, but hey, you're ranked in the top 25. You win the season out, you win your conference, you might look at a playoff bid as being one of the other conference champions. So even if you're ranked low, that is exciting to see. And then Iowa State lost this week, and you dropped 8 spots. They didn't look amazing. I didn't like it. Vandy dropping a little bit after losing to Alabama. And you see all these huge jumps coming up the board. Everyone else is sliding up because Penn State and Texas, get the hell out of here. Everyone else is able to move up, take their spots. Notre Dame 3-2, still sitting at 16. Doesn't quite feel right to me. I know, Jet, you have some issues with that too. I mean, you have 2 losses and you're in the top 20. Notre Dame, until they beat someone else big, should probably still be in the 2025. They're a top 25 team in the country, but give someone else respect because they're able to win games.
I was about to say Florida State. Florida State is 3-2, and they're at number 25. But you have in the 20 to 25 range, you have Vandy 5-1, Arizona State 4-1, Iowa State 5-1, Memphis, the first bowl eligible team of the season at 6-0, and then South Florida 4-1, all below Notre Dame. And bear in mind, Notre Dame is 3-2. And they're still above Virginia, BYU, and Illinois, which Virginia 5-1, Illinois 5-1, BYU 5-0.
Yeah,
3-2.
It's not fair. I don't like that ranking, but I look at the rest of the list this week. I am fairly impressed with these voters. I think they did a really solid job of giving teams their flowers. I like seeing Georgia Tech up here, and you notice there's some teams up here you wouldn't expect. Like Ole Miss is always good, but they never quite get this high. Texas A&M, Oklahoma, Indiana. You're seeing Texas Tech. You're seeing some schools that maybe you normally don't see in the top 10 getting a chance. And then Miami.
I was about to say you see LSU, Georgia, and Bama outside of the top 5.
And this was interesting. Like you see Miami and Oregon. I really think since Miami won, they're getting more first place votes. Like you see 21 to 5. I don't like seeing Oregon drop for winning a football game. But if anything, if you're gonna do that, make Miami number 1. Because Ohio State's still living off that Texas win that doesn't look as good. And Miami's beaten some ranked teams. And, they beat USF. They beat Florida. They beat Notre Dame to start the year. I think Miami's probably the number 1 team in the country. They're at least my favorite to win the Natty as of right now.
And that's fair. I think out of Ohio State, Miami, and Oregon, I think Oregon's probably the best well-rounded one. Oregon's my favorite to win the Natty this year, actually.
I'd be happy with that. I got a friend that just they started school a few weeks ago, and they're going to Oregon now, so that'd be nice for them.
That's got to be a massive school to go to.
Yeah, like their classes are like 300 people per class. It's disgusting.
No, thank you.
Yeah, I like our small class sizes a little bit better. I got 5 people in one of my classes, dog. Like, it's kind of nice.
It's gorgeous. It's
and you get to build relations with the professors. It can help you afterwards. Anyways, this isn't a college advice podcast. This is a sports podcast. So do you have any other finishing thoughts on the top 25 for this week?
Again, I like seeing Mizzou at 14. They went up 5 spots. I like seeing them kind of get into that top 15 spot. They've played well. They're getting a little bit of the respect that they need, right? And that they rightfully deserve. But I still think Notre Dame going up 5 spots, still being 3-2 is wild. No. Vanderbilt being 5-1 and going down 4 is kind of crazy.
It's because they lost. It's because they lost to Bama. But
if Notre Dame is going to be 16, they went up 5. Florida State's going to be 3-2, and they're going to go down 7 because they're down 7. And Iowa State going down 8 spots because of a loss.
The worst part is I can't remember who they lost to, and I don't want to take the graphic off. Can you look up who they lost to this week? I know it wasn't good. I didn't like it. I know I watched a little bit, and I was not impressed.
You want to know what's funny?
Who?
Cincinnati, 30-38. It was one score. The Cincinnati, if you look at the bottom of the screen there,
right here,
the one that is on the border of the top 25. So it's not like they lost to like an FCS school or like one of the worst in the conference. They got beat by a team by 1 score that is a team that is almost in the top 25. Arguably, they're number 26 because they're there. And you demote them 8 spots? You didn't do that to Bama.
Right. Is Cincinnati undefeated?
You didn't. I don't think Cincinnati's undefeated.
Yeah, what's the record right now? They probably have 1 loss, if I had to guess. They're sitting outside, a smaller school, Big 12.
I got to look up Cincinnati Bearcats. The Bengals popped up on my computer real quick.
Sorry.
I've been
I know
looking at a lot
you don't want reminders on that team right now.
I've been looking up a lot of Bengals stuff recently, and right now it makes me want to beat my head in.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they are 4th in the Big 12 right now, and their overall is 4-1. But they're ranked higher than Iowa State in their division.
Yeah,
purely because conference play, Iowa State's 2-1, Cincinnati's undefeated in conference.
This is good though because we are nitpicking, right?
Yeah.
This means the AP poll got it mostly right. I really like the poll this week. I think they did a really solid job other than Notre Dame. Notre Dame's the only nitpick we have. But outside of that, everything else looks pretty solid. I still hate that Alabama is this high. I still think they're a little bit overrated, but
very much so.
No, they beat Vandy. They went into a game they lost last year, and they kind of kicked the shit out of Vanderbilt. So
I love my grandma dearly. I hope to God that Missouri beats the brakes off of Bama. I don't think they will, but I do think Missouri has a very high chance of beating Bama because I know as soon as Missouri, like if Missouri beats Bama this weekend, Bama's dropping out of the top 10.
Wait,
I know they are.
I have a hot take for you. All right,
go for it.
All right, so I'm gonna have to explain this one, and it's also a joke. But Lindenwood University, FCS school, is better than Alabama, and here's how. Okay, Alabama's quarterback, he's pretty good, but his dad is the coach of UT Martin, and Lindenwood just beat the brakes off their dad this week, which therefore makes Lindenwood Alabama's daddy, which makes Lindenwood better than Alabama. I said it. Here we go.
That is some transitive property shit, and that is funny as hell. I love that.
And I picked UT Martin to win that game, too. I was the one person on our show.
That's one of the short clips right there. That's one of the short clips.
Dude, no one's like, I can't. What do you even title it? You title it Lindenwood's better than. No one knows what a Lindenwood is. I mean, the Barstool guys, when we played Kansas last year, was like, what's a Lindenwood?
That's Barstool.
Barstool's
one of the ones that. Barstool's one of the ones I respect a lot less than the AP poll, and I don't even like the AP poll.
Yeah, Barstool doesn't have a lot of redeemable shit. They're like the jackass of the sports world.
They really are.
And now they're getting TV time. One of the networks is giving them a morning show, so whatever, dog. And they're not good people. The guy that runs it, I don't think he's a very good guy. Seems like there's more controversy every single week. But that is all for wins and losses. We'll break down the football wins and losses side of things. And soon we got NBA and NHL, which means we got to shorten our pick'ems.
Yeah, we do.
And we talked about that. Maybe doing the one-sentence pick'ems where you come in and you say, that's not the right thing. And headline. That's what I meant to press. We're talking about maybe doing a one sentence of who's going to win and why for both people, and then a short discussion afterwards. I think that would really make the segment better. So if you guys at home have any suggestions on how we could spice up the Pick'em segment, please let us know. We want to make the best show possible and entertain you guys at home. But I think that's all we got today, unless, Jet, you have some finishing thoughts.
No, thank you everybody for watching. And yes, please don't be afraid to comment. We love hearing from you guys. And any way that we can make this show more enjoyable for you makes this show more enjoyable for us to make. We already love doing this show for y'all. Please let us know how it could just be that slight little bit better, you know?
All right, well, that is all for this week of Zuggy Zone, and thank you guys all so much for tuning in. I know it's a weird one. It's a Monday. We will be back on Thursday. Somewhere around 2 to 4 p.m. is when we'll go live. I think I also do work that evening, so it might have to be a 2. But that's all from us. We'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace out.
Deuces.